Make some noise for
Down the Rabbit Hole Podcast.
Taking it down the rabbit hole.
Welcome into Down the Rabbit Hole Podcast. You've at least peered over the edge. Now let's see if we can get you to fall down in here. We're always coming in here talking about politics and conspiracy theories. We got to thinking about what Carl Edwards said this week. You know, could NASCAR be rigged? Could sports be rigged? We're going to look into it today. I got a well-esteemed panel of peers here sitting with me. I'm going to go around this way. There's some new faces at the table. I got my boy Jamie here. How you doing, man?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good to have you. I got Robbie over here.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know Jeff. He's here all the time. He hangs out. Whatever we're talking about, he's there. We got BC in the corner over here. How you doing?
Good.
And if you haven't seen that racing show, you need to go in there and like and subscribe. We got my man Todd Brown. I go way back to this guy. He's got a show that covers anything and everything racing. Welcome in, Todd Brown from That Racing Show.
Glad to be here, man.
Glad to have you, man. Yeah, there was some comments made here about a week ago by Carl Edwards, and that's kind of what got me wanting to talk about this, you know.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in.
Okay, come on in there, man.
Manipulation. Well, you know, I just did an episode on it. It's part of the series. It's part of the way now because racing now is more about the TV revenue.
Yep.
That's the aspect of it. It's entertainment more than it is racing in so many ways. So
I'll add on to that. You were asking about rigged and all that stuff. We go into the World Series. You know, they sell all that beer and food. They gotta run it so many games for it to be profitable. They're not gonna kill it in three.
Yep.
But as far as NASCAR is a traveling road show. People fail to realize that. It's no different than the WWE. They pack their shit up. They go to a town. They fucking throw it out. They run a race. They pack it up. They go to the next. It's a traveling road show. All right.
Well, let's do this real quick. Let's hear what was said.
There were so many crazy things that happened. My motorhome broke down, had all sorts of issues going on at home that were very strange. Danica and I almost wrecked in practice. We had the fastest car, and it was this crazy thing. In the middle of the race, either we had a bad pit stop towards the end, or I screwed something up, and I remember pulling out, weaving behind the pace car thinking, I did it. I gave up my whole everything I ever worked for. I'll never forget Dave Rogers coming on the radio and saying, we got them right where we want them. And we went and we passed every single one of the guys I had to beat. And there was something about that caution. It was like the final thing to say, damn it, you're not supposed to win this thing. This is not supposed to happen. I know NASCAR was throwing those cautions to make it more exciting. That's a fact. Now I realize it was the best thing in the world for me. I was able to get the message that I did not belong in a race car. That's not what I was supposed to be doing with my life.
because I think he ran 13 seasons in the Cup Series. And
got some stats pulled up.
You know, when you go through that, this was his best opportunity to do it. And for him to go, I was screwed and stop, just walk away, not only from the racing, but the paycheck as well, just to up and go. That tells you how much he was sold on the fact that that was a bull caution.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was Dale Jr. or something. He said that if you throw a debris caution, why can't you show me the debris? You saw it. Why can't I see it? Yeah. You know? And then obviously this year, we won't even talk about how the inconsistency with cautions are this year. It's just, wow. That's all you got. Wow, you know?
Yep. So Carl Edwards, right? He quit racing after that?
Yeah, 13 years. Yep. Says almost all of his seasons were championship seasons. Yeah. And 2011, he had an average finish of 9.3. Yep. Was dramatically thwarted on a tiebreaker in the finale with Tony Stewart, moved to Gibbs. 2016, won 3 times, poised to win championship, winner-take-all finale. That's the restart, the caution.
Yep. Well, let's do this because Jeff doesn't watch as much NASCAR as we do.
Right.
Would Robbie or Jamie tell him in 3 or 4 sentences what happened at that last race that Carl Edwards is probably upset about?
I can't exactly remember what he said. Something about, when was the caution thrown? Was it 40 to go, 30 to go?
No, it was like, because they went back, I think, with 10 laps to go to green.
Yeah.
But he said something about wanting it to be more exciting. And we've all watched, you know, a guy run out to a 5-second lead, 6-second lead, and it's boring, you know.
Yeah.
You know, especially on more things, more aero dependent and all. It's like if you're not side by side with a guy with after 5 laps, you're not catching him. It's just it's boring to watch, especially if it's a championship race. And
they had a problem. NASCAR had a problem. And the cautions were one that they could pull anytime. Plus, it was the championship race. Oh, yeah. Add drama.
Yep.
And they had the caution clock. Remember the caution clock? Yeah. You know, so
and the other thing about this was Dylan Lupton. That's who the caution was thrown for. And it was for a brake rotor that broke that wasn't even on the racetrack. So, and Dylan Lupton, he ran 4 races, cup races in his entire career. This was his last race. And it's sad that somebody who's not a cup driver caused Kyle Edwards to lose the championship.
You think about how Carl Edwards got his cup ride.
I'm unfamiliar. How did he
He
get it?
walked around pit road with business cards and handed them out. I mean, this guy literally like
What?
begged for a job, and he
Are you
was that
serious?
But he was that good. He couldn't even get a look. Clearly, was a championship contending driver that just.
Yeah, you think maybe, Jimmy Johnson ended up winning his 7th on that race, right?
Right. You know they wanted that.
Yeah.
There was a lot
Yeah.
of hype about
You
it.
think that might have had something to do with it?
Carl was leading. If he'd have won, he'd have sealed the deal for the championship. And pulling this from that Racing Show's latest episode, I'm going to give you a quick of what happened right here.
Okay.
They come into the restart zone. Kyle Larson, the outside. Carl Edwards on the inside. Green flag back in the air. They're blocking. Good going elbow. Carl Edwards into the wall. He got tagged by the 22. Big hits by the 19. And the caution comes back out again.
Well, it almost looked malicious from the other driver as well.
Yeah, they're pushing so hard. I mean,
Yeah.
they ain't giving a
Well, if I remember right, Joey was actually in the championship run that year too, who was
right.
behind
Yeah,
him. So, he's going for the championship as well.
Yeah.
And those two were always at it. So
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Gibbs-Penske feud year? Wasn't that whenever?
That was mainly the 15.
Yeah.
I think it was 15 when Busch won a championship because I know me and you were at Martinsville.
Martinsville when
That's when it
When
really boiled
when
over.
Joey got trashed.
When it was really because
Yeah.
the 4 was Kansas.
Yep.
And
God, that was
that's
so-
when was it Kansas got
Kansas.
1-1.
Ken just said, because Joey wrecked him week 4. He said, well, if I ain't going to the championship,
Hey,
you
we
ain't
were
either.
there for that.
Yeah.
We were there, and
Yeah.
the
You were
crowd, the crowd went.
Oh, beer
wild.
cans. I remember the beer cans
Same.
flying over the fence.
You can tell how the fans feel about it.
Well, racing has changed so much in 20 years, man. That was one of the things I was wanting to talk about was how different it is then versus now. Is it really just more of a show, or is it the fastest driver wins?
it's all money.
Fastest driver never wins anymore.
No,
Right.
No.
I think anytime you have
money.
money involved,
It's
it's
money.
it's going to be
All
money. They don't care who wins. I mean, they do to a point. Of course, they want the person that's going to bring in more money. The fans that are going to bring in more money, they want that person to win. When I was watching NASCAR back in the I don't remember when, but it was when Jimmy Johnson was winning all the championships.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd sit there and I'd be like, that shit's rigged. Ain't no way this guy's winning every damn race, you know?
Well, that was actually when he got his 7th was because of that. What just happened?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in their time, the teams had something figured out. I don't think you're going to say that his success was rigged. I think the guy was really just that good, and the equipment was just that good. Jeff Gordon was just that good. They learned, So I think that aspect, when you look at like what they actually did.
I like the way you've been saying it in your episode, though. Instead of just saying rigged, which, I mean, that's a real strong word.
Yeah.
You're saying manipulation, and that's probably much more accurate because I don't really think they're like, it's like wrestling. All right.
No.
So
No.
Joey's going to come out here, and with 3 to go, he's going to make the pass. But for sure, they wanted some drama, and they wanted some excitement. This is the final race, and probably Carl had been out front for 20, 30 laps, and they're like, yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. And
There's always
Yeah.
something they can do.
You go back to NASCAR in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the 90s, it didn't need all this.
right.
People watched. People were at the racetrack because it was stock cars.
Yep.
It wasn't the spec car, things of that nature. You had drivers that had personalities, drivers that, they raced all their life to get to where they were at. They had regular jobs. Now you got, somebody who's bred from day one to be a race car driver, and they don't particularly understand the value of where they're at in racing now. And that's, to me, one of the biggest changes between the old days to now is that they're more adapted to the entertainment aspect than the racing aspect, because that's where their paycheck is coming from, is the entertainment. And now with television,
We turned them into celebrities.
yeah.
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 I don't know that there's really anybody at a cup level that's
Josh Berry's
Josh
gonna be
Berry.
Is Josh Berry really?
Yeah, he came from.
Yeah.
nothing.
He started washing cars at juniors. He's been there for.
I'm taking
forever.
the Byron approach. I'm going for that iRacing ticket.
It works, man. It works.
Good luck, man.
Yeah.
But you gotta get money.
I got a long ways to go.
Gotta have a lot of money.
I'm gonna bump into Junior, man. He's gonna pull me right out of that lobby and say, "I got you a car, boy."
Yeah. Yeah, he ain't going to pull me after what I did last week. I promise you that.
Brian Marshall in fifth, Jason Rushing in sixth, Mark Coco. Well, Zachary Tyler just got ran through from the 78 of Jason Rushing, as that was a big calamity behind.
I'm not sure what that was all about. Just like you said, just ran through it.
Talking about these mystery cautions, though, I got another excerpt here, courtesy of that racing show once again. I wanted y'all to watch this right here. I mean, Todd, I think you put it very well in this right here.
Let's take a look at the caution.
Here's the cause of the caution. You see the 15 gets all the way up. Wow, that's decent contact with the wall. You see all the debris flying.
Really? You see all of the debris flying? Let's take a little closer look, and let's see what this debris is that's flying.
15 gets all the way up. Wow, that's decent contact with the wall. You see all the debris flying.
And me, myself,
You see the debris flying?
I was looking hard, man. My eyes aren't the best.
The only thing,
Marbles at most.
only thing was tire rubber that was up against the wall already. And if Derek Cope wouldn't have been 40 laps down getting in the wall, that wouldn't have happened.
So you were talking about earlier about the betting aspect of it, and that reminds me of this past Super Bowl. You know, everybody was talking about how it's rigged. You know, the refs are always in the Chiefs' favor. Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. So then you get Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl. Chiefs are looking to, you got to get the points, the spread. So not only did the Eagles win, but they also just barely got the spread. So you got to think about all these people that are betting. They already know who's going to win. If you put some money down on the Eagles, you would have had some fat pockets after the game. And everybody expected Kansas to win. And everybody, the normal people, bet on Kansas.
Right.
Even Eagles fans were betting on Kansas.
But you go into the spread. Isn't it odd that the Eagles just had their foot on their throat and then KC starts to score and those points start? That's the spread part coming in.
It got right there at the end. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was to me obvious.
It's Vegas, baby.
You think NFL is rigged or manipulated?
Everything's
manipulated. And the thing is, it's gambling, and I think that's where NASCAR's probably kind of gotten to, is we've gotten off in that rabbit hole of gambling. You know, the house is going to win, right? The house. I mean, there's a reason why those casinos have all them fancy lights that they don't have to worry about paying the power bill.
Right. There's a lot of new blood coming in, and old drivers are kind of tapering off. Is anybody looking at Carson Hocevar? Anybody?
Absolutely.
You are? Anybody else?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been kind of. I liked him in trucks. He was a little rough in trucks. I like that race. Kenny Wallace did a great episode on it. Told him, he said you're gonna have to take the chewing, but you're messing with their money, and that's why they're mad at you, because you're up there. And he's right, dude. And Carson's a cool kid. He did some broadcasts, some rain delays, and just personality wise,
I was there during that.
Yeah.
I was in the garage area when he was walking around doing that. And it was funny as hell to see, because he's just a natural.
Dude.
And everybody he walked up to was like excited to be a part of it, And I mean, look at him this year.
He's doing it Inspire shit too. Like, it's not even like
I'm
not saying Inspire's bad.
They got money,
but I'm not saying they're bad.
It's Hendrick number 2 right now.
But do they have the notebook? Right, it's you know what I'm saying. That
I mean, yeah.
You look at
I would
the
say they
notebook.
do.
Gus Childers there now.
Look at last night. Who won the race? Kyle Larson in a Spire truck with Hendrick on the side.
It's almost kind of hard to believe that Hendrick is going to sell you or lease you a motor to outrun me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
I'll sell you a motor. Let me tune it real quick.
I don't necessarily think that somebody's just going to get an engine. And I got friends that work for ECR and the engine in the room. So
no, they're not selling them dogs.
I don't think it's necessary that they're going to take their best motor. I think they're all pretty much equal, just like the cars now.
It's just Hendricks pretty much.
Yeah,
I think it goes back to the notebook though, and I think it goes back to the proprietary stuff that they have that they're not selling. They know stuff that you don't.
They're not selling them; they're leasing them. They're not selling them. They're leasing them to get them back.
Sorry for my terminology, but
I got
Well, and what was it? You got a special coming from Roush Yates. I do know that they have a tier 1, tier 2 stuff like that.
Oh yeah. They call them A and B,
A and B,
and somebody gets C's. But it's because it's just like a lot of the Xfinity drivers. That's what. Because I do a lot of things with filming Joey Gase and them, and the time you'd get we got a B motor today, so they feel pretty good about that. Which nothing against them because it's a smaller team, trying to compete.
My experience go-kart racing's the same way. The engine builder for like a good kart engine builder.
Oh yeah,
they'll buy 10 engines, build them, and dyno every one of them.
Yeah,
and some of them they throw in damn trash.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing. So I mean, it's all the way up to the top.
I can tell you a good story, a funny story that got held over my head for years back when I was running karts. Another guy that we were running the same class, he kept beating my ass week after week. So our engine builder one night, my dad was giving him hell, and he was like, "Go take your motor off." So we're like, "What are you doing?" So he went and took the other dude's motor off. We swapped motors. Went out and he still whooped my ass.
Then you quit bitching about his motor.
So it was kind of one of them things of like, well, shit, we got
some humble pie.
We got to work more on the setup right now than the motor. So
you're saying it's me?
Yeah. It kind of was at that point.
So I got a question. Didn't NASCAR not too long ago remove all sponsorship? You couldn't sponsor cigarettes or alcohol on the cars?
Just cigarettes.
Just so alcohol is still good.
Alcohol,
yeah. So they took cigarettes. Okay, so when did that happen approximately?
Oh, that'd be bad.
2006, I think, was the first year, if I remember right.
All right, they had started before that with the no bull stuff, and they were trying to do smokeless, and so they had kind of progressed into.
Yeah, but I think that was more government on NASCAR than NASCAR just doing it because that's a lot of money.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
There's no cigarette advertising.
The Winston
at all.
The whole series
was gone. Yeah, we lost it.
And what's crazy is if you go back when I was growing up, because my dad worked for Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I literally spent my life there when I was younger. There used to be girls walking around with the little sample packs, I remember 8 cigarettes, and it didn't matter if you were, you'd be 12, and they're like, here, take this, there's you some Salems or whatever.
Boy, the times have changed.
Yes, it was pretty wild back then.
Something happened. I don't remember what it was. They were complaining about, and you'd watch the race, you'd look in the stands, there'd be 5 people out there, and it was like, oh my God, NASCAR's going to lose so much money. They were talking about if it kept going that way, they would go out of business. And then not too long after that, betting came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going back again to the starting park for a part of it because there were so many teams that were just going out there to run 5 or 6 laps to get the paycheck. That was it. Oh. So a lot of and it's really interesting because at that time NASCAR was really pushing the major teams to add on other teams. Mm-hmm. That's why so many teams started getting 3 or 4 cars and everything else because they were pushing this really bad because part of the field would just go out there and make 10, 15 laps and park.
So the thing I'm thinking about was probably several years ago, and I remember them talking about it, and then I remember not too long ago, you could bet in certain states, but now you can bet in almost any state.
I think there's 36 states now.
Right. So there's a lot more betting, and I kind of came to the conclusion that them, and not only them, but other sports, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, were doing that to compensate for the income loss. And not only could they compensate for it, they could, if it is rigged or manipulated, they could control it more to where they make more profit. They don't care how many people are in the stands anymore if they can make a lot more money off the betting.
Well, you're kind of hitting on something. I don't think is the TV deal. So the teams, the charters and all that came about because the teams were saying, look, we're putting all the money in to put the show on, and you guys are the ones that are getting all the sponsor or commercial money and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so the teams actually get money from the TV rights now because they said, look, man, we're the one footing the bill for the damn equipment, and you guys are damn running with the bag.
They're still fighting that.
They are. Oh, it's been.
And then NASCAR's jacking up the price of the charters.
Yeah, it's a lawsuit.
Make up for that.
Yeah.
What was really interesting.
That's a lawsuit there. Yeah.
So who do y'all want to win on that? NASCAR or Michael Jordan? Is this better not say? Or
no, it's not that.
I mean, normally
I see it from both sides.
Normally, the guy who's controlling it, which would be NASCAR. Yeah. Typically, I'm not saying NASCAR. Just normally, whoever's in control is probably not doing it right.
The thing about it too, on that note, you can go to somewhere where they've never even seen a NASCAR race in some third world country. They know who Michael Jordan is, and if NASCAR's worried about publicity, our image, et cetera, or you don't want them to all of a sudden have the image of NASCAR against Michael Jordan, because now you're going against I mean, one of the world's biggest superstars ever.
Can someone clue me into this Michael Jordan thing? Because I'm a big Jordan fan.
Oh, he's got
what's going on with him.
Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin own their own team now. It's 23 XI.
Yeah, okay. LeBron James don't have a race team.
Yeah, fuck him.
Shit. Okay.
They would fake crash.
I guess you don't hold him.
So yeah, because Jordan's always come out. He's always been a big NASCAR fan. He's come to a lot of races, being from North Carolina.
Yeah, I've seen
him and Jordan's really
he's invested in it.
Yeah,
he's got.
He's really. Oh yeah, he's invested.
But he's also.
You go by his race shop, you can see the investment.
That's the one thing that you go back to the lawsuit. If they're not making this money, let's just say you take Hendrick, Gibbs, all these guys that have been a part of this for forever, right? They got big houses. Every driver's making killer pay. Crew chiefs are making killer pay, but they're not making money. But yet NASCAR has sustained for so many years with everybody still making money. And now NASCAR is talking about going to opening up, people being able to invest. Now imagine right now that Michael Jordan buys a bunch of NASCAR. Just think about this. If he buys a bunch of NASCAR, the holdings.
He could become a...
Talking like publicly traded and all? Or?
Yeah. That's the discussion now that they're discussing, putting it out, NASCAR holdings going public once again. Because, see, they did that before.
And once you go public, then the manipulation can increase exponentially. You can get hedge funds. A hedge fund could come in and shut NASCAR down.
Yep.
If they wanted to.
Yeah, I say it all the time. NASCAR is leaving doors open for so many problems.
So who's in charge now, Dan? Like, who is the grand poobah of NASCAR?
Phelps.
I mean, Steve Phelps, Ben Kennedy, I think is.
Ben Kennedy.
You know, he's a guy that quit driving just to take that position.
We're early in the season, but championship predictions, anybody?
Tony Stewart.
The guy
I've been out of it a while.
Yeah, NHRA.
You got to tune.
You're on the wrong side of the fence now.
All right, who are you thinking?
Larson.
If you
Byron.
Pick, right?
I think Byron actually gets it done this year.
Yeah, Byron.
I'm going to go with Busher.
I would have to right now say Christopher Bell.
When what was it, 18?
Yeah.
We went to Iowa. You know, that was a great trip. Beautiful out there. We'd never heard of no cooler policy ever. Yeah. So we load up coolers and we go to walk in and everybody's like, can't bring coolers in here. I'm like, well, this guy's screwing with me, you know?
We get up there
so I go to walk in and he stiff arms me in the chest. I'm like, really? And we got to looking around and I'm like, shit, they're serious. There's no coolers.
Yep. So we walked all the way back to the truck.
Well, luckily we got a golf cart, shotgun too on the way back, and you know, we were good for about 30 minutes.
Just pounding beer at the truck, right?
Yeah, pounding beer.
But I never heard that in my life.
That is going as far away from one of the old school things that's still alive in NASCAR today.
Man, I can remember when I was younger, especially at Charlotte, it didn't matter if you smoked weed or not, you were going to smoke weed that day because there was so much weed in the audience.
About like being a Leonard Skinner concert.
You just,
wait till Freebird cranks up.
You got no choice at that point.
Didn't matter if you were into the race or not, you were going to be into it.
I recall a story you told about with Casey Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Driving.
Yeah, that was a trip.
It's a good story. Y'all got to hear this.
That was back in 2015 because a friend of mine that I've worked with in other films, he's actually shot a couple of my short films. Ray wanted somebody who was in racing or somebody that we could get in a car. My thought was we're just going to shoot in the car, roll it around, different things like that. And so me and Ray went out and we did, I'm going to say about 45 to 50 laps. And this is Rick Hendrick's personal car that he had built. It was an old Jimmy Johnson car that they built, so it's a two-seater. So he could take people on rides because Rick's an old driver himself. Me and Ray go out there and we're running, like I say, about 40, 50 laps, right? And we're running about 140, which at Charlotte, 140 feels like going down the interstate at 55 miles an hour.
Yep.
So we do this, and then Casey shows up. And so we go get in the car. I get into the passenger seat. And he's like, well, what are we doing? You know, he's just like, go out there and hit it. Just go. So I'm expecting us to go back out and, you know, do this little thing. And Casey just, boom, hits it, takes off.
Went to qualify.
So, yeah.
So he was on a flyer there.
Oh, shit.
In my mind, I'm thinking, like, we got, 45, 50 laps on this tire. He don't know this.
He didn't care.
And boom.
We're mocked up going for it all.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He hits it. We go, and I'll be honest with you. The first 5 laps, every time we'd hit turn 1, I would, because your whole insides feel like they're going straight out the window.
Yep.
It's just gut wrenching, and your eyes physically cannot keep up with the billboards, the fence, because everything's just, So you're just like, and I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm going to puke in this race car. I'm going to puke on this set because I'm in the passenger seat. I'm this far from the wall going down the back stretch.
Oh yeah, because he's got between him and the rest of the car to the wall. He doesn't really know that.
Yeah. And
there's cameras. Is this for a commercial? There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah. So there's
wow.
GoPros all in the car. So like I say, when you're going down the back stretch at 180 some miles an hour and everything's just right by you, it's like okay, and then you hit a turn and your belly's still doing this. So
and he's just over just like toodle.
Yeah,
like he's
just like And what was funny about it is because I was supposed to play this guy because it was called the Hendrick Ride Along Experience. So I was supposed to be this just average dad who won this contest. So they wanted me to do all these faces of like being scared, being sick, and everything else.
These were genuine at this point.
It's awesome.
So as this starts out,
do you think maybe they kind of like set you up on that deal? Like they kind of like reeled you in a little bit.
Could have been, but
they set you up the first time you went out.
Right.
So then,
take it easy.
So, what was crazy is that me and Casey did like 5 runs, about 6 or 7 laps each time. After my stomach calmed down and everything else, I forgot what the hell I was supposed to do. So I'm just riding around. And we come back in there like, dude, you got to make some faces. You got to do something. I'm like, shit, I forgot, So now I'm doing all these other ones. On the last run, we come in and we come out of 4 and the ass end just went out from underneath us. And so we get out of the car and Casey's like, did you feel that when we come out of 4? Like, dude, I was like, writing my will in my head because I'm right here. And if you hit the wall coming out of 4, it's going to hurt. And he was more worried about crashing Rick's personal car. I mean, I've been around Charlotte at speed, but not at that speed like that with a passenger seat. It was very fun. And afterwards, I thought, like, what the hell did I just do?
Will we ever see a competitive female driver in NASCAR?
Damn, you set me up for this one.
We can start over here. We can start over here.
NASCAR has 3 series. What series? Like, where are we talking at here? Are we talking about like
all the way to Cup?
At all.
To walk in as a Cup driver and be competitive? No.
I mean, when you ask, like, will a female make it? I do believe there's different drivers that have the ability.
It's very obvious that there's a difference at the Cup level, like in the ARCA and Xfinity and trucks and Indy. Look at Danica Patrick. I mean, she's accomplished in the IndyCar. Come to Cup, you know what I'm saying? It's something about a Cup car. It's the physical demands. It's something about it. Could be the mentality, right? There's a psycho part of it or psychological part. It's the teams. Are the teams going to get behind and all that? But there's something about the Cup level that's just not conducive to female drivers, and I don't know what the reason is, but it's just not. But my mom raced dirt track. She was a track champion in Merced, California. Like, my mom drove a truck. Like, am I going to say like a female shouldn't drive a race car? No. Right. Should they put Catherine in a freaking at that race? Probably not, right? No. But I don't think you're going to see a female driver win a Cup Series race or a championship. I just don't think you are.
Do you think this car possibly has anything to do with it?
I mean, there's female drivers.
Shauna Robinson.
There's female drivers have been through the decades, right? So it's just something.
Correct. And
just something about the Cup level that's just not conducive to female drivers. And I don't know what it is.
You can only answer yes or no.
No
other answer, just yes or no. That's all you have. That's all you have. Because believe me, he'll give me a paragraph of nonsense. So it's a 2-part question for each of y'all, and then we're going to close this thing out. Is NASCAR rigged? Is the NFL rigged?
No.
No.
I'm going to say yes.
No.
I can't say not rigged because there's too much at stake.
And there's human factor.
You
can't.
I think y'all are all right, to be honest with you.
Do you know the lawyers? Do you know the legal? All of that stuff. Like, these companies, like race teams, aren't this garage and we're rolling the car out and going to Charlotte. These are businesses with HR and investors and all of that. Just because NASCAR's not publicly traded, there is a lot of money that's invested in that. You look at what happened with Michael Waltrip Racing that's no longer exists, and them manipulating an outcome of a You're done.
The key word is manipulating.
You can't.
Not rigged.
You can't rig. You can't rig.
But
You can hopefully alter a certain amount of things that make it go favorable to one side or the other.
But isn't that already the effect of what you're doing by setting your car up and putting the engineering? Aren't you already manipulating it for the best outcome?
I meant NASCAR as the overseer.
We're asking if NASCAR is manipulating the rigging, and they don't survive without ratings.
I want to thank each of you individually for coming out. And everybody, please go like and subscribe to That Racing Show. Todd Brown, I've known this dude for a while. This dude, he lives the racing. He knows the racing. Of course, y'all all do. But we're going to talk stories after we turn this thing off. But, Jeff?
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Down That Rabbit Hole podcast. Special shout out to our guest. We have Todd with That Racing Show. Check out his YouTube channel. He talks about a lot about racing and stuff. Thank you to Jamie and to our other guest, Robbie. Tune in, smash that like button, subscribe, send us an email if you got something you want us to talk about. We'll check into it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. Now we're getting to the bottom of it.